how I travel the world for free and how you can too. This is something I really only got into maybe a little over a year ago, but it has since allowed me to travel to Japan twice this year. I'm planning a third trip this winter. I've gone to Italy this summer, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Atlanta. Affording all of these trips in just 1 year is something that I could not have imagined doing before starting this little side hustle that I'm going to talk about in this video. If you haven't guessed it already, this was all made possible by the power of credit card points. So in this video, I'll give an overview about how credit card points work, how you can get started choosing the right card, how you can quickly earn and accumulate lots of credit card points, and then how you can use those points to finally take that trip that you've always been wanting to. So how do credit card points work? Basically, every credit card will earn a small percentage cash back every time you use that card to buy something. Cash back is sort of an umbrella term used to describe any kind of rewards points, miles, or just pure cash that you earn from using these cards. The percentage usually ranges anywhere from 1 to 5% on various types of spending. So for example, if you had a card that earned 5% cash back and you spent $1,000 on that card, then you would get $50 back in the form of rewards points, miles, or cash, whatever that specific card gives you. That might sound pretty good, but when you really think about it, it would take a lot of spending to save up just that little few percent cash back each time until you have enough to afford an entire plane ticket or something. But the good news is there's other ways that you can earn a lot of points relatively quickly through welcome bonuses or referral bonuses. So the way welcome bonuses work is that for certain cards, when you apply to them, there will be this kind of offer or this deal where you spend a certain amount of money in a certain time frame. This could be, a few thousand in a few months, a couple hundred in a couple months, it varies. And then once you hit that spending threshold in that amount of time, then you'll get a big lump sum bonus of points. Could be anywhere from 10,000 to 150,000 points, which can come out to hundreds or thousands of dollars in actual value. Then there's also referral bonuses where basically if you already have a card, you can send your referral link to a family member or friend, and if they get approved for that card, then you get a lump sum of points anywhere from 10 to 40,000. All right, so let's get into the actual strategy behind this whole credit card side hustle thing and how you can start earning thousands of dollars in value towards travel. First, I should cover some misconceptions about the whole credit card thing, and the first one is that it's bad to have too many credit cards. This is only true if you spend irresponsibly. If you want this whole credit card thing to work, then you should only spend money on your credit card that you actually have in cash so that you can afford to pay off your credit card statements in full at the end of each month. If you can't do these two things, then don't even bother watching the rest of the video and just focus on fixing that first. I will say if you're looking to get approved for a loan for a house or something sometime soon, then I would maybe hold off on applying to new credit cards, because once you apply to a card, your credit score will take a temporary hit and it will take a couple months for it to recover. Hopefully you already know this, but you should not be using your debit card for those regular everyday purchases. One, because you're missing out on loads of cash back, rewards, and benefits from using credit cards, and also it's a lot less safe than using a credit card. So assuming you spend responsibly and pay off your credit card statements in full each month, basically we want to get a new credit card every 1 to 3 months or so, and then use only that card until we complete its welcome bonus, and then we get the big lump sum of points from the welcome bonus, and then repeat the whole process. So you can even get a new credit card pretty much as soon as you finish the welcome bonus from the previous credit card if you really just want to speed run through all this stuff and get as many points as fast as possible. This will allow us to not only get that little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% cash back on just regular spending on these cards, but we'll also be constantly getting these big lump sum welcome bonuses of points that we can then use on travel purchases. And another important point is that you don't want to excessively spend on these cards just for the purpose of getting that welcome bonus, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose, because the whole thing is to save money through getting these points. And if you're just, blindly spending on stuff that you wouldn't normally buy, then it's just defeating the whole purpose. So for example, if you only spend like a couple $1,000s a month on average, and there's some card that requires $10,000 spent in the first 3 months to get the welcome bonus, then you probably shouldn't try and get that card, because you're likely not going to be able to naturally meet that spending requirement without artificially inflating your spending. So how to get started and choose the right credit card for you. So we don't want to get just any old credit card. That Best Buy or Walmart credit card that gets you 5% cash back and free shipping isn't going to help you travel the world for free. Most of those types of retail cards really just encourage you to spend more money at that specific store and don't really have any good rewards or bonuses. So there's a few things to consider when deciding which credit card to apply to. The first is of course the welcome bonus bonus, we obviously want higher welcome bonuses, but we also need to pay attention to how much money we need to spend in order to get that welcome bonus. You need to make sure that you can realistically achieve it through your normal spending habits without artificially inflating your spending. And also, does that card's welcome bonus come in the form of points, cash, miles? What kind of points? Unfortunately, all points are not created equal. For example, 100,000 Chase points are going to be worth much more than 100,000 Marriott Bonvoy points. And ideally, we want cards that can be useful for our everyday spending habits, like on groceries, gas, restaurants, travel purchases. So for example, does the card earn a high percent cash back on groceries or a high percent cash back at like Home Depot or something, where we're probably not going to consistently be spending a large amount of money? Next, we want to check if there's an annual fee for the credit card. And if so, is that fee outweighed by the welcome bonus or some of the other perks that the card offers? If that's the case, can we keep the card permanently in our wallet and still get positive value out of it? Or maybe just for the first year when we get that initial welcome bonus, and then afterwards we might want to cancel or downgrade the card. Also need to consider what your current credit score is, because this will affect which types of cards you could get approved for. And then finally, you want to think about your goals with credit card points. Do you want to earn free flights, free hotels, or just maybe pure cash back? Sorry, I didn't mean to overwhelm you with all those sort of questions and things to consider. I promise it's not as difficult as it might seem. And once you get maybe your first few credit cards, you'll realize it's actually fairly simple and a pretty straightforward process. But I listed out all those considerations because there's really not one best credit card that everyone should get, because everyone's life situations are completely different and so are their spending habits. But there are a few cards that I would recommend taking a look at and seeing if they fit your needs. But just be careful with your research, because there are a lot of blogs or websites out there that will try to push certain cards on you just because they're either sponsored by that company or are aiming to get lots of affiliate or referral commissions. There are two main companies that arguably have the best valued credit card points, and the first one is Chase. Most people will recommend starting with Chase credit cards because they generally have great credit cards, solid welcome bonuses, benefits, and their points are valued pretty highly. Most importantly, there's what's called the Chase 524 rule, where basically you can only get a Chase credit card if you've gotten less than 5 credit cards in the past 24 months across all issuers. Now, there is sort of a way to get around the 524 rule with business credit cards, but I don't want to get too deep in this video. So some Chase cards I would recommend is the Chase Freedom Flex, which earns 5% on rotating categories, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which earns 1.5% on all purchases, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is just an all-around great beginner travel credit card, and there's also the Chase Ink business cards, which are great as well. Now, once you've gotten some Chase credit cards, the next company I would look into is American Express. Amex also has great credit cards, but they tend to have higher annual fees than Chase. Amex points are generally really good for flights, but not quite as good for hotels. And I would generally say Amex is more for the intermediate to advanced credit card users because of those annual fees. It takes a little more thought to get the most value out of the card and offset that annual fee. But a few card recommendations would be the Amex Gold, which gets 4% back on groceries and dining, as well as $240 in Uber credits, but it does have a $250 annual fee. The Amex Platinum, which can have a huge welcome bonus. I got 150,000 points on mine. It also has all these fancy travel perks, lounge access, clear, but it does have a $695 annual fee. There's also the Amex Blue Business Plus, which gets a solid 2% back on all purchases. Some other companies that I would take a look at is Bilt. They have a MasterCard that earns you 1% back on rent, which is pretty unusual and something that no other credit card offers. And Capital One has their Venture X, which has good bonuses, travel perks. And there's also the Saver one, which has a $0 annual fee and some really good Uber benefits if you like to order Uber Eats and stuff. I'll have links in the description for each of my recommended cards with the full list of benefits. They are affiliate links, but I will say that if you have a friend or family member who has one of these cards, I would definitely prioritize using one of their links so that they can get a little bonus. But if you do want to help support the channel, then feel free to use one of my links to apply. It would be greatly appreciated. So how to use your credit card points for maximum value. There's a couple different options here. One is to redeem your points for straight cash, but generally you don't get as much value out of your points, maybe 1 cent per point or even less. The next option that I use a lot of the time is just to book travel through either the Chase or Amex travel portal. This will just allow you to use your points to pay for the plane ticket or the hotel. And you'll also usually get a pretty high percentage cash back if you do buy your plane ticket or any sort of travel purchase through these portals. And if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you could get anywhere from 25 to 50% more value in your points when you're booking through the Chase portal. The next great option is to transfer your Chase or Amex points out to different travel partners like United Airlines, Delta, Hyatt Hotels, Hilton, ANA, Marriott, where you can then redeem the points directly through that travel partner's website. And here sometimes you can find some even better deals and get 5 cents or more per point in value. So that's pretty much the basics of the whole credit card side hustle. Again, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here because it is sort of a beginner intro video, but let me know if you want to see more content like this. I don't really want to make make this channel into like a credit card channel, but I do want to genuinely help people improve their lives. And when I discovered this whole credit card thing, it really improved my life because it allowed me to take all these amazing trips and have these great experiences. So hopefully you found this video helpful and you now feel a little motivated to get into the whole credit card side hustle, just like I did when I first learned about the power of credit cards. As always, do something today that your future self would thank you for.